So today we wanted to make a video on our follow-up video that we made on parenting. And this may be a subject that's, a little sensitive to some, but I think the video is necessary to be made. When I meet many parents today, a lot of parents say, well, you got to let a kid do what they want to do, find their own happiness, things like that. I tend to think a little bit differently, and I'll use a comparison of, I have a friend who, when we talk about this subject, he always says, Damon, there's a reason why they train horses. So are we training horses with kids? No, that's not what we're doing. But what we are doing is saying that a kid really don't know what they want to do, because what does a kid know? And as they go through life, I think it's important for the parent to kind of introduce them to a variety of things, to try to find what it is that they like, but to explain, kind of the good and the bad. But let's just first talk about why does horses have to be trained? There's many jobs, and how does horses being trained, and how does this affect kids, and mainly from an economic standpoint. There's a variety of jobs. When a horse is born, there's a variety of jobs that horses play in American society today. I mean, we know that the Amish, they drive horses. There's some horses that's, just used in, for like playing, whether it's on farms and kids come and ride, whether they're in zoos or whether they're in circuses. We know that there's thoroughbred horses. There's horses that ride buggies. So there's a lot of different jobs that a horse play in American society today. But when that horse is born, does it know what job it's going to do? I mean, obviously based on the breed of the horse, the quality of the horse is going to kind of tell what they're going to do. But mainly a master decides what job field, that, lack of a better word, that horse is going to go into. As comparing that to kids, and I even talk about, here's some of the subject, mainly with my oldest son, that me and him went through that when coming up and deciding on his future. I remember when he was young, he asked me for a pair of Vans, and he'd probably find this funny when he watched it. And I told him I wasn't buying him a pair of Vans. And at the time, it's changed a lot. Vans has gotten a lot more popular. But at the time, 20 years ago, when he wanted a pair of Vans, pretty much only people who wore Vans were skateboarders. And I believe that one of the things with skateboarding, I was always leery with my kids and with myself of doing something that not only is that you do for fun, that involves or creates a lifestyle. So I was, in a lot of skateboarders, it become a lifestyle. So I was real leery about my son doing that. So I didn't let him get a pair of Vans. I remember when he was in the 5th grade and he said he wanted to be a sports announcer. That's the job that he wanted to. And he was really upset with me. I'm like, well, how you want to be a sports announcer? Let's look at how many sports announcers out there actually in society and the amount of money they make. A lot of local news has sports announcers. I don't believe they make a lot of money. They make a decent living, but not a lot of money. I mean, if you're lucky, you can end up, there's 2 main channels, Fox Sports and ESPN. Majority of the people that are on ESPN are analysts. And there's a lot of those, but a lot of those people play professional sports. So now the other job is for the sports broadcasters. It ain't very many positions, ain't very many jobs in the sports broadcasting field, and they're paid decently. You take someone like Stephen A. He's doing really, really well. But there's only one Stephen A. And there may be a 2-1 at Fox Sports is Skip Bayless, who's making top dollar as a sports analyst. So I knew those job fields was hard to get into, and the odds were against us. So this is kind of along the line me introducing my son to what to be, what he can or what he should look at, what he can and cannot do. And so then when he went to college, I was real big on that you go for economics. Me and him got into it about that. Here he is now. He's 28 years old at the University of Chicago. In business. I haven't asked him, but I'm sure he's probably happy that he took economics. Normally, when you go to a college campus, a lot of your smart people that's going to be in business, a lot of them going to be in econ. And I'm just of the belief that I wouldn't say what he wanted to do. He can go be a doctor. He can go be a lawyer. He can go be a businessman. He can go be whatever it is that he wanted to do. But I believe as an undergraduate, if you learn about economics, then you go off and be a doctor. It don't say how well of a doctor, a practitioner you're going to be. But I got to believe if you understand economics and now you got your doctor skills, I think you're going to be a more profitable doctor. So back to the original thing is, we hear a lot of parents say, let a kid do what they want to do. With a kid going off to college, and I said that econ, a lot of the smart people on college campuses, are they really going to pick the hardest field that you can study? No, probably not. Without some strong encouragement from their parents, most kids are going to go the easiest route possible, and they're not thinking long term down the future. They're thinking about present, how difficult the classes may be, how much time they're going to have to study for these classes as compared to doing, maybe you want to go to the gym, maybe you want to go to parties. If you're taking a hard degree, it's going to take away from all that other stuff. So I believe for especially early on in life, if you allow the kid to get bad grades, or you demand that a kid get good grades, I believe that the kid is going to follow what the parent would like for the kid to do. And I believe it's the responsibility of the parent. It's hard. It can have conflict between you and the kid. It can create some tricks, some traction, or friction between you and the kid. But I believe that I always, in every decision that I made or tried to influence my kids, I always ask myself, when my kid is 25 or when my kid is 30, if I allow them to do what they want to do in this moment, or I kind of pushed them to do what I felt as though was the right thing, at 25 or 30, are they going to be happy with me as a father that I helped make that decision? Or are they going to be mad at me as a father that I helped make that decision? And I believe that when they're 25, 30, if they're living a comfortable, profitable, well economic life, they're going to be happy that I helped them make that decision, as compared to living somewhere where the income is lower. Maybe if they have kids at the time, they're living in a lower economic environment. I just believe that. I believe it's a responsibility of all parents, and I just believe it's the right thing to do.